What started as a fabric intended for rugged workwear used by miners and laborers and cowboys soon evolved into a fashion staple that has remained on trend for over a century. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about denim. Paige is live in Denton at Faded Blue, a store filled with denim and other retro fashion finds. And I see even Paige has on a good pair of jeans this morning. Hello, Paige.
I certainly do. I dressed for the occasion. You know, you're right, Erin. Talking about denim, this is a fashion staple that has lasted. When so many trends go in and out, you can always expect denim to stay the course and to remain fashionable. And really, truly, vintage denim, this has become its own cottage industry. Lots of people love it and they want the real thing. And where you can get some real, true vintage denim is here at Faded Blue. I'm excited to introduce you to Devin Drake. Hello. He is the proprietor of this establishment. Hey, Devin.
Hi.
How are you?
Doing great.
Let's talk a little bit about the denim that you have here. Wonderful, wonderful pieces. And I can tell that these are not pieces that were made to look worn. These are actually worn vintage clothes.
Yeah, they're worn, they're thrashed, they're well loved, and that was the Faded Blue came from my favorite pair of jeans, just your favorite Faded Blue jeans, and that's where the name came from. So you're right, denim never goes out of style.
It never goes out of style. Yeah, and we talked about earlier that it started with like miners and cowboys, and man, it's amazing that it crossed over to mainstream and it's done so successfully. I also want to talk about something else too, because you came into this industry after doing a completely different career. COVID kind of forced you to pivot dramatically. You started doing, curated denim, some furniture as well, and then it eventually transitioned to records.
Yes.
And you've got a great story about the whole record component and how this all came about.
Yeah, back during COVID, a gentleman showed up in a Suburban, and he needed gas money to Fort Worth, and he had 300 records, and came in and talked to me for about an hour. He's a DJ. He was COVID. He was out of work, so he was selling records out of his garage. Mm-hmm. And so my first record buy was from him. I bought about 300, and then he came back a week later, and I bought another 300. And so that's what got us started in the record business.
And I love stories like this because it's like a random stop by. Some dude just happens to come by, and all of a sudden it changes your life. And I'm telling you guys, we're talking a lot of great albums here, from Kiss to Neil Diamond. You name it, it all can be here. But in addition to that, and this is where I think it's so fun that you had another little pivot, plants. You can also sell plants, and really for plant people, these are some fine specimens.
My favorite thing is to trade plants. We trade clippings. I have people bring me plants all the time. A lot of my favorites came from customers, and I just really kind of sell plants because I love plants. Both my grandmothers had gardens and they worked in their yard, and I've always had a love for plants. The Neil Sperry garden book was on our coffee table.
I love it. Well, I also want to talk a little bit about this building. We're in Denton, and I got to tell you, Denton has continued to evolve. It is such a cool place to be. They really embrace all different types of cultures, but this building is not what it was originally. The tin is original, and also we have a mural that we're going to show, some video that we're going to show of this mural outside. Very, very cool, and definitely speaks to the Faded Blue. But you have a story about how this whole thing started, and it really has a lot to do with dear old mom. Tell me more about that.
Well, back, I found myself 50 years old and out of work, looking for a job. I sold cars, I sold door-to-door sales, I sold texting, and none of that worked. So this building came available, and my mom bought it, and we started as a little antique store. And that was 10 years ago, and it's turned into a successful business, just kind of one step at a time. I've always loved selling and buying merchandise, and so I just took a hobby and made it into a business.
You have such an affection for your mom. I'm gonna say it, you're probably a mama's boy.
Yes.
She really did step up and help you in a time of need, as
absolutely.
moms do, and it's really a tribute to her what you've been able to do to transform this store and to make it into such a viable option for shoppers. This is also a great destination. I noticed that while I'm here, every time I turn around and look, I see something different. You've done a fantastic job really putting in a lot of unique items and also giving a nod to mid-century modern, which is so on trend right now.
Absolutely.
It's very impressive what you've been able to successfully accomplish in this particular space. I love it. What are your hopes for the future, Devin?
Just want to continue to grow the record business. I love talking about music with my customers, shared concert experiences. Just music is a universal language. I have Facebook followers all over the world. I talked to somebody in Denmark yesterday about stereo equipment. So vintage audio and music is, it's worldwide.
And also music brings people together.
It
I thank you
absolutely
for
does.
this. You need to check out Denton. Come to Denton. There's so many different things you can do also for spring break, but one of them that needs to be on the list is Faded Blue. You can find out more information with the information on your screen.